Presidential candidates and congressional leaders said Sunday they were stunned and heartbroken by news of the mass shooting at Orlando's Pulse nightclub. Presumptive Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton tweeted that she woke up to hear the devastating news from Florida. "As we wait for more information, my thoughts are with those affected by this horrific act." Presumptive Republican nominee Donald Trump tweeted, "Horrific incident in Florida. Praying for all the victims and their families. When will this stop? When will we get tough, smart and vigilant?" Trump later tweeted that he appreciated the congrats for being right on radical Islamic terrorism but that he didn't want congrats, "I want toughness and vigilance." Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont, who remains in the race for the Democratic nomination, called the shooting horrific and unthinkable. "We should not be selling automatic weapons which are designed to kill people," Sanders said on NBC's Meet the Press. "We have got to do everything that we can on top of that to make sure that guns do not fall into the hands of people who should not have them, criminals, people who are mentally ill. So that struggles continues." Congressional leaders also reacted with horror to the shooting that authorities say left 50 dead. House Homeland Security Chairman Michael McCaul, Republican Texas, said this appears to be the worst terrorist attack on American soil since 9/11. "And it is a sobering reminder that radical Islamists are targeting our country and our way of life," McCaul said. "But Americans will not be intimidated by these fanatics. Instead, tragedies like we saw in Orlando only strengthen our resolve to fight back against terror and prevail over extremism wherever it emerges." Senate Minority Leader Harry Reid, Democrat Nevada, said the entire world stands with the victims and their families. "While we do not have all the facts yet, one thing is clear: this was a senseless, hateful attack on innocent people, and we must do everything possible to ensure that justice is done," Reid said. That this act of hate occurred at an LGBT mainstay during LGBT Pride Month makes it all the more horrific. "Hatred, terror and bigotry have no place in our country, and we will not allow our nation to be ruled by fear." Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, RK, thanked the citizens and first responders who helped rescue and save lives amidst horror and chaos. "We will continue to monitor developments from local law enforcement and the FBI to determine the exact nature of this crime and whether it was connected to international terrorist groups," McConnell said. House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi, Democrat California, said our hearts ache for all those killed in this senseless attack, and we pray for the swift recovery of all of those who were wounded. While many questions have yet to be answered, the pain of this attack in a mainstay of the Orlando LGBT community is surely magnified as our nation celebrates LGBT Pride Month, Pelosi said. "We will not allow hate and terror to succeed in blinding us with fear." House Speaker Paul Ryan, Republican Wisconsin, wrote on Twitter that he is praying for those brutally attacked in Orlando. "While we must learn more about the attacker, the victims and families will not be forgotten," Ryan tweeted. Representative Adam Schiff, Democrat California, the senior Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee, said he was told by police that the shooter declared his allegiance to ISIS, the Islamic State. The fact that this shooting took place during Ramadan and that ISIS leadership in Raqqa has been urging attacks during this time, that the target was an LGBT nightclub during LGBT Pride Month, and, if accurate, that according to local law enforcement the shooter declared his allegiance to ISIS, indicates an ISIS-inspired act of terrorism, Schiff said. Whether this attack was also ISIS-directed, remains to be determined. "I'm confident that we will know much more in the coming hours and days." Senator Ron Johnson, Republican Wisconsin, chairman of the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee, said his committee will work to support the federal role in investigating this terror attack and protecting against further threats. "As Americans we must unite to defeat terrorism's threat to our nation's security," he said. Senator Ben Sasse, Republican Nebraska, who also serves on the Senate Homeland Security Committee, said the attack may be the latest front for Islamic extremists. "We know that violent Islam is bent on turning American cities into war zones and, given comments from the FBI, it appears that Orlando could be the latest front," Sass said. Senator Marco Rubio, Republican Florida, appealed for blood donations from Orlando area residents to help shooting victims. "Our prayers are with those injured and killed early this morning in horrifying act of terror in Orlando," Rubio wrote on Twitter. Members of the Congressional LGBT Equality Caucus today said they were horrified by the shooting. Though details are still emerging, an attack during Pride Month against Pulse, an iconic gathering place for LGBT Floridians, has a particularly insidious impact on our entire community, said Roddy Flynn, the group's executive director. Our thoughts. Presidential candidates and congressional leaders said Sunday they were stunned and heartbroken by news of the mass shooting at Orlando's Pulse nightclub. Presumptive Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton tweeted that she woke up to hear the devastating news from Florida.